Okay, I've got Gel Magic on the back of it, and I got my little screws on the other side pulling it in tight, and I got some clamps on it, the one we made. I've got another design. I'm going to maybe make some in the next few days before I get ready to put the outside rails, and you'll notice I've got the outside rails back up, clamped to the outside of the normal ones so that they'll retain their shape. So tomorrow I'll be able to pull the clamps off and take the screws out, and then that'll be in there. Let me show you something else. Remember I was talking about over drilling that lower hole for the gudgeon? Notice I said gudgeon and not grudgeon with an R. You know why, don't you? You can see the outline of the drill hole right here, and I filled it up with Gel Magic, and then I have my line right there that I clamped. There was the original drill line, so I put it in place, clamped it down, and then re-drilled through. So you can see I got a nice little white ring of Gel Magic all the way around the hole, so there's no way that water is ever going to get in to the wood here. Well, it's that time to get out the old sander and do a complete sand on the inside of the hull, get it prepped for painting. One last final check. It's kind of like washing a, notice how I said wash instead of wash, washing a used car when you buy it to find all the dings and dents. So the best way to find any flaws is to go around and sand everything. And I've got a list of things I need to touch up before I paint. And I'm going to do another little tricky bling thing. I've got a little bit of tricky tape. I'm going to do some two-tone work on the inside, so there's going to be a lot of bling on this boat. I have the clamps off, and I pulled out the screws, but I don't think I'm going to be using the screws on the long strips on the sides. I'm going to do something with the 23 gauge pin nailer, but something a little tricky that I was trying the other day that I'll show you when I'm doing it. But I pulled out the screws, and I don't like them because of the little dimples that I'm going to have to fix. Let me show you. I've got these little dimples here from the head of the screw that's sunk in, and I don't like that, so I'm going to have to mix up some compound now to fill. And over here I've got a divot where my when I used the pin nailer on the center line. This is a dumb thing. No, this, yeah, pin, yeah. And it blew out a hole, so I got to fix that too. Okay, I've got the, this is cured on, but it sticks out too far, so I put some tape to protect the side of the hull, and I've got out my dowel cutter saw. It's a draw saw, but it has no set to the teeth, so you can put it up flat against something. And we used this earlier on the hell did we use this for? Oh, these rails up here. So I'm going to go ahead and hold it in tight. There we go. One way to check on this is to take a remnant I've got over and stick it along where it's supposed to be, and then hold it up. So I'm pretty happy it's nice and flat, and I'm probably going to, I could have come out maybe just a hair. No, I'm happy. It'll fit fine. I just got to make certain that this end is really held down tight, and I may put a pin nail through the edge here to hold it in place. Here's another little trick I want to show you. When I was doing the mast partner here, to put a first coat of epoxy on it to seal it off, I had it upside down on some blocks on my visqueen, so I was able to get that side done. But in order to do a full 360, I took 3 long wood screws, you know, like sheetrock screws, and stuck them in on the bottom side, and I can finish these off. Probably if I wanted to be really sneaky, I could have bored a hole bigger than the diameter of the screw, and then another pilot hole, and drilled them in and smoothed it off. But then when you know, after I've got the bottom done with my toothbrush, I can just flip it over and stand it on the screws, and it's away from everything. And then I can put another coat on top, and then run the brush underneath along the sides for any drips that may come around. So that's another little handy trick to have. Well, I said we'd come to that bridge and we cross it, and cart before the horse and all those other things. I'm doing something that I probably would not have done. I'm doing things backwards, and because I'm doing things backwards because it's gotten colder out, and I'm two-toning the paint on the inside. Normally I paint the inside of the hull and then let it air and dry and cure upside down while I work on the bottom. But this time I'm doing the fancy schmancy trim, and I wanted to put in a bead. Well, what I should have done was painted the bottom first, but then it's the race between, okay, is the paint going to dry before I need to put masking tape on it to trim it out? So I'm going to cheat. I took my my mask partner here that we had. Remember, I made it out of cheap pine and I didn't like the color of it and stain, so I took some epoxy and put in black pigment paste. Like I said, it goes a long way. I'm going to sand it down and give it another coat, but it came out pretty black and shiny, and the pigment paste will give it UV protection. So I'm going to do that along. I've already put a coat up here on the bow just to see how it works. Now I'm going to go ahead and put on 2 layers of pigmented paste epoxy as my trim color, and then that'll cure within, you know, I'll put a coat today, sand it tomorrow, put on another coat tomorrow afternoon, and then Monday I'll pull the tape and I'll be able to let it set for probably a day, and then put tape on the other side and then start painting the whole white. So let me go ahead and do that. It's basically just a lot of delicate toothbrush work. I may take and tip the boat up a little bit more so I have a better angle of attack. We'll see how that goes. And yeah, I'm going to be too delicate to be messing with the camera, so I'm going to be doing the toothbrush, and then I've got some foam brushes, some just simple little foam brushes to come along to smooth it out, as opposed to trying to get a roller, because a roller is going to pick up blackened epoxy and smear the bottom of the rail. So we'll come back when I'm done. Okay, and whatever word I always start out with, make certain I've got the first coat done, and I put in a pretty good amount. Well, not too much that it ruins the epoxy mix, but then this isn't structural, this is visual. So the load of black pigment is a little higher than I may use, but not that high. I may be able to get away with a single coat, I'm hoping, and then I'll take a look tomorrow after it's cured, and to see whether or not I can go ahead and pull the tape off at that time. If not, then I'll mix up another coat. I probably mixed more than what I should. I should have gone with little tiny batches put into a big cup so you don't spill, but smaller batches so it doesn't kick in so quick. And near the end, when I went around clockwise, by the time I was getting up on that other side there, it was getting kind of stiff. But then it's not running on you either, so it'll give you a thicker coat. So I'll know tomorrow. And one thing I did too is I put some tape around my, I tried to use the toothbrush and it wasn't working fine. So I just got one of those disposable 59-cent small foam brushes, and then put some tape on the side so I could drag the tape. Say this is the rail right here. I could drag the tape along the bottom side of the rail and use that as a guide, and any epoxy that wicked up would be trapped under the tape. I did get some little spots where the black got on the bottom of the rails, but the rails already have 2 coats of epoxy on them, so that was just easy to wipe up, because it's, you know, it's cured. The rail epoxy was cured, so just wipe it right up. I've also got my Orlock sockets screwed in place too, so we're getting closer to being done, hopefully.